How often should you feed a kitten? This question is more vital than you might think. In the wonderful world of pet ownership, few things are as delightful as bringing home a new kitten. These tiny, fluffy bundles of joy quickly become part of the family, and it's our responsibility to ensure they grow up healthy and strong. One of the most critical aspects of this is feeding them properly and at the right intervals. You see, kittens are not just small cats. They have unique nutritional needs that differ significantly from those of adult cats. This is because they're in a rapid stage of growth and development. Their tiny bodies are hard at work, building bone structure, developing muscles, and growing a lush coat of fur. All of these processes require energy and specific nutrients, which they get from their food. Did you know that a kitten's age plays a significant role in how often they should be fed? Yes, it's true. Just like humans, kittens have different nutritional needs at different stages of their life. Let's break it down. When kittens are born, they are completely dependent on their mother's milk for the first few weeks of life. During this time, they need to be fed every 2 to 3 hours. Why so often? Well, kittens are growing rapidly, and they need a lot of nutrients to support their development. As they grow older and start to wean off their mother's milk, the feeding frequency changes. At around 4 weeks old, kittens can start to eat solid food. You can introduce them to wet kitten food, but you should still supplement it with milk replacer. At this stage, they should be fed about 5 small meals a day. Yes, it's quite a lot, but remember, their tiny tummies can only handle so much at a time. Once the kitten reaches 8 weeks old, they should be fully weaned off the milk replacer and eating only solid food. However, they still need to be fed multiple times a day. 4 small meals a day should be sufficient at this stage. Then, when your kitten reaches around 6 months of age, you can start to reduce the number of meals to 3 a day. And finally, once they hit 1 year old, they should be fine with 2 meals a day, just like an adult cat. Of course, these are just general guidelines. Every kitten is unique and may have different feeding needs. It's always best to consult with your vet to determine the best feeding schedule for your little furball. So remember, the younger the kitten, the more frequent the feeding should be. It's not just about filling their bellies, but also about providing them with the necessary nutrients to grow and thrive. After all, a well-fed kitten is a happy kitten. Transitioning from mother's milk to solid food is a crucial phase in a kitten's life. This phase, commonly known as the weaning process, often begins when the kitten is around 4 weeks old, and it is a significant step towards their independence. This transition doesn't happen overnight, though. It's a gradual process that can span several weeks, and it's important to approach it with patience and care. Abrupt changes can cause digestive upset or even lead to a kitten rejecting solid food altogether. The first step in this process is introducing your kitten to a gruel mixture. This mixture typically consists of high-quality kitten food, water, or kitten milk replacer, creating a soupy consistency that's easier for the kitten to consume. It's worth noting that cow's milk should not be used as a substitute for mother's milk or kitten milk replacer. Despite popular belief, most cats are lactose intolerant, and cow's milk can cause digestive problems. In the beginning, you may need to gently dip your finger into the gruel and let your kitten lick it off. This helps them get used to the new taste and texture. Over time, you can start offering the gruel in a shallow dish, encouraging your kitten to eat on their own. As the kitten becomes more comfortable with the gruel, you can gradually decrease the amount of liquid, making the food more solid. Keep in mind that kittens are messy eaters, so don't be alarmed if mealtimes get a little chaotic. In addition to the gruel, it's also important to start introducing small amounts of dry kitten food during this phase. The dry food helps promote good dental health as the kitten's teeth start to come in. Remember, every kitten is unique. Some may take to solid food right away, while others may need a little more time. It's all about observing and understanding the needs of your little feline friend. The transition to solid food is a significant milestone in a kitten's life, and it's essential to get it right. It's not just about how often, but also how much you feed your kitten. In this scene, we're going to dig into the question of quantity. How much should you feed your kitten at each feeding? Well, just as with frequency, it depends. The right amount of food for your kitten is determined by several factors, including their age, weight, and activity level. Let's break it down. First, age. Kittens grow rapidly, and during their first 6 months, they require up to 3 times the energy intake of adult cats. This means they need more food for their size compared to a full-grown cat. Typically, a kitten aged 2 to 3 months should be fed about 1/3 of a cup of dry food per feeding, 3 to 4 times a day. As the kitten grows older, you can gradually increase this amount. Weight is our second factor. The amount of food a kitten needs also depends on its weight. As a rule of thumb, a kitten should be fed an amount of food equivalent to about 2 to 3% of its body weight per day. Therefore, if your kitten weighs 2 pounds, it needs between 1 and 1.5 ounces of food daily, divided into multiple meals. Finally, activity level. A more active kitten will burn more calories and consequently will require more food. If your kitten seems to have boundless energy, you might need to up their food intake a little. But remember, while it's essential to ensure your kitten is getting enough food, it's equally important not to overfeed. Overfeeding can lead to obesity and other health problems later in life, so it's all about finding that perfect balance. In conclusion, the right amount to feed your kitten depends on its age, weight, and how active it is. Use these factors as a guide, but always consult with your vet for the best advice specific to your kitten's needs. Feeding the right quantity is just as important as feeding at the right times. And with that, let's move on to our final segment, where we'll recap everything we've learned so far. Let's quickly recap what we've learned today. We've taken a journey through the critical stages of a kitten's life, understanding how their dietary needs change as they grow. We've seen that proper feeding isn't just about filling their bowls. It's about providing the right nutrients in the right amounts at the right times to ensure they develop into healthy, happy cats. In the first scene, we discussed the importance of a well-balanced diet for kittens. We learned that they require a combination of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, with a particular emphasis on taurine, an essential amino acid. These nutrients are vital for their growth, development, and overall health. Next, we explored how age influences feeding schedules. Newborn kittens rely on their mother's milk or a kitten-specific milk replacer for nourishment. As they grow, around the age of 4 weeks, they begin the transition to solid food, a process that should be gradual and carefully monitored. The transition phase, our third scene, is a delicate period. A kitten's digestive system is still developing, and introducing solid foods too quickly can lead to digestive issues. We learned that wet food is the best choice during this period, mixed with a bit of their milk diet, gradually increasing the ratio over several weeks. In the fourth scene, we focused on the quantity of food. Once kittens have fully transitioned to solid food, they will need frequent small meals. The exact amount depends on their size, age, and activity level, but generally, they should be fed 3 to 4 times a day until they reach 1 year old. To sum it up, feeding a kitten is a careful balance of timing, quantity, and nutritional value. It's a labor of love, one that requires attention, patience, and a deep understanding of their unique needs. Remember, when it comes to feeding your kitten, it's all about timing, quantity, and a whole lot of love.